team they haven't faced in their storied history is Holy Cross. And we are underway. Colgate in the white and Virginia in the orange for the first time in, we believe, about 7 years, since 2017. The Cavaliers very excited to don these uniforms tonight. Both teams expected to play a 3 center back formation. We will see Colgate in probably what looks like a 3-6-1, maybe a 3-4-3. Coach Ronning making a couple of changes from the opening night loss against Syracuse. Colin Hughes takes the spot up top of Timmy Donovan, and Blake Pipkin will start for Alejandro Corey. No changes for Coach Gelnovach's team, as Austin Rome is shoved off the ball by Hughes and a free kick. Cavaliers looking to score on the goal to our left. UVA, meanwhile, in its 3-2-4-1 formation. This is a new formation for Coach Gelnovach this season. Really loves the idea of Brendan Lamb, who wears 8 in the orange, as a left center back who has a lot of license to move around the field. 2 holding mids with Alvin Gashi and Umberto Pella, the 2 center mids that played the majority of the minutes last season for the Cavaliers. Austin Rome, the 6'3" center back. Now it's Umberto Pella, one of the 3 captains on this Cavaliers team, alongside Alvin Gashi and Paul Visa, who you'll see as the right wing back for the Cavaliers. Gashi to Cesar Cordova, and now Lamb switches the point of the attack for Gashi. Umberto Pella, that is. Junior from Italy. Pella striding forward. Cordova has it. In behind now, Reese Miller. Towards the net he goes. Miller fakes. Loves that left foot. Plays it back towards the D. UVA recycles it now. This is Gashi from outside the area. Had a notion about a shot. Opts to deliver it to the Lipscomb transfer, Nick Dang. Daniel Mangarov, who scored in the 10th minute 3 days ago. Switching his jersey from 16 to 10, receiving that coveted number 10 kit. Cavaliers, as they are expected to do tonight, dominated possession in the opener against Rider. They outshot the Bronx 16-5, 8-1 on target, and had 9 corner kicks to just 2 for Rider. Meanwhile, Colgate, in its loss against Syracuse, got outshot 16-4, but both squads had 4 shots on target. And Jacob Blackwin, 3 in white, the left wingback, had a couple of grade A opportunities, one in the first half and one in the second, that could have changed the complexion of the match. Pella. Now Lamb, you're going to see him all over the field. Listed as a left center back, he's a converted midfielder, but he really roams around the turf. Diagonal ball, seeking Visa. Instead, it's headed away by Blackwin. And now on top of it, Mangarov, although he loses it to Blake Pipkin. The first-year player from Houston getting his first career start tonight. And our referee, Nick Balser, says throw in for UVA. Anthony Wolford and Tyler Groves, our assistant referees. John Lesniak is our 4th official tonight here from Klockner Stadium. This Colgate team has been a respectable road team over the last couple of seasons. In 2022, they were 4-0-4. Last season, not as great, but again, a respectable record of 3-6-2 away from Hamilton. Pella directing traffic. Dang, the former ASUN freshman of the year 2 seasons ago at Lipscomb. Down the line it goes, and there is Lamb. Left center back all the way to the right corner. Gotta love that. And a goal kick now for Colgate's Oliver Townend. Spoke with Coach Gelnovach before the game. He said that this 3-4-1-2 formation, a 3-2-4-1 formation, that is, not something that the Cavaliers worked on a whole bunch in preseason. It was kind of a late decision during the exhibitions that they'd want to go with this formation. And they've worked a lot with Lamb over the last week or so about knowing where to put yourself on the field in different spots. Pipkin gets a foot in on Alvin Gashi, but UVA maintains control. Cordova, who only played 4 games last season, getting the starting nod as one of the 2 10s alongside Mangarov. You have the box midfield with Pella and Gashi as the 2 6s, and then Mangarov and Cordova pushed up forward. Triton Beauvois starting as the 9 for the 2nd consecutive match. Played 29 minutes in his 2nd career start against the Bronx. Gashi delivers it to Paul Visa, fresh off an 8-assist season. Coach Gelnevach said, if we're going to make a College Cup, we need more assists from Visa this season. Pella with Lamb to his left. He receives it. Brendan Lamb pokes it forward. One-touch pass from Cordova. Crosses in. And a nice tackle there by the 6'5" hulking center back, Julian DeLucia. First-year player from Ontario, played the full 90 against the Orange 3 days ago. And the only player in this Colgate 11 that did not have Division I starting experience prior to the season opener. So this is a Raiders team that brings back a lot of experience, a lot of juniors and seniors on the roster. And those seniors experienced the downfall of this program. 0-18 in 2021, but they've been building back up consistently. 7 wins 2 years ago, 8 wins last season. To the back post it goes, and that avoids everybody. You had Austin Rome, 5 and orange on the back post seeking it. Instead, it's another goal kick for Oliver Townend. The senior from the Bahamas only made 3 starts as a sophomore after not playing his first year in 21. Last year got 7 starts. He was playing behind Andrew Cook, who has since transferred to Penn State. Townend made 3 saves and allowed the 1 goal against Syracuse. Dale Lepper, one of the captains on this team, lifts it forward. Lamb in the right spot. And now Beauvois brings it down, a traditional number 9 striker. George Gelnevach wants a foul, and he does get it here from our referee. And a free kick for UVA. Cordova. Sophomore from Houston. Mangarov lays it out wide. Visa. 2 out in front of Mangarov. Cordova is there. Mangarov disrupts as well on his strong left foot. Waits and shoots, and that is a laser just high. Daniel Mangarov seeking his 2nd goal in 2 games. Blake Pipkin, the one tackled off the ball. We saw a similar move from Mangarov in game 1. Just didn't get over the ball enough. Speaking with Coach Gelnevach before the season, he said, look, we need Daniel Mangarov to score more goals this year. He's now in his 3rd season with UVA. Had 3 goals his first season after transferring from UNCG. Same amount of goals last season. But he wants about, 5-ish goals in the run of play, and then he's also a free kick specialist, penalty kicks, does that as well. Reese Miller now in his 3rd season as a Cavaliers starter. As Lamb switches it for Albin Gashi, the junior from Sweden. One of the 8 internationals on this Cavaliers roster. It's a big one for Coach Gelnevach this season with 42. They're likely going to have to cut it down to 28 next season with the new scholarship rules. But that's something for the UVA coaching staff to worry about in 2025. Pella, Gashi, those 2 really close friends. Now it's Lamb accelerating forward, drops it off. Reese Miller crosses in. DeLucia is there. You can't miss him, 5 and white. He is one tall center back. He's got a lot of muscle on him for a freshman. And Coach Ronning was very high on DeLucia when we sat down with him yesterday. He said, look, he's not Virgil van Dijk. We're not pretending he's the best center back in the world, but he fits that profile. Gashi, his 30th start in his collegiate career. Cordova plays one touch with Beauvois. Mangarov, one touch shot, and an easy one for Townend to take against Umberto Pella. You could certainly sense early in this match, 10 minutes in, that Colgate is content to settle in, play for a 0-0 draw, and Coach Ronning did not really escape from that evaluation when we spoke with him yesterday. He knew that his team would be on the defensive for most of today's match, obviously looking to convert their 2 to 3 grade A chances if they come. Cason Stafford, the only striker of the 3 that started against Syracuse. Colgate team that returned 77% of its minutes from a season ago, so a lot to build on. But the big question mark, where are the goals coming from? They only scored 16 last season, and Aiden DeVoe, who scored 7, is no longer with the team. Jacob Blackman with a knock. That goes off one of the Cavaliers. And a corner kick for Colgate, the Raiders first on the evening. Temperatures dropping here in Charlottesville, but still a little bit of a muggy night. Reached the high 80s at the apex of today. Blake Pipkin to deliver the corner kick. A lot of congestion inside that 6-yard box. Some moving traffic cones. This one bounces in. Loose change. Oh, that's a necessary intervention from Brendan Lamb. Showcasing his defensive skills too. Joey Batruni, the goalie, on the back line, lets it go over. Goal kick UVA. So that's what we're talking about right there. You know, you're not going to shut out Colgate in terms of opportunities the entire match. But when the Raiders do get those set piece tries, they need to convert. Missed opportunity there. Pella and Gashi scanning the field. Some high press here from Colgate with 4 players forward. Cordova, who has some El Salvadorian national team experience on the youth level. Sudden rise for Cesar Cordova. Played just 41 minutes a season ago as a freshman. The patient Cavaliers at work. Mangarov checks back towards the back line. Lifts it forward. Reese Miller can't bring it down. He was certainly onside, and Townend right there to scoop it up. Coach Gelnovach said he needs 3, 4, 5 goals from Reese Miller this season. On the All-ACC freshman team and a third-team freshman All-American 2 seasons ago, now a junior. Townend having trouble with it. And it was Cordova who got a foot in there. Aiden Wright plays it towards the middle. Mason Pahuli turns it over. Gashi. Rome. And now Lamb. Austin Rome, the redshirt senior, sturdy player at 6'3" from Bowie, Maryland, in his second campaign with the Cavaliers after transferring from Providence. Turnover for UVA, and Blackman is tackled off the ball. That was Umberto Pella on the slide. Gashi spins, has Lamb to his left. Gashi deals it to him. Lamb swings it out wide. Miller. Gashi. Lamb. Triton Beauvoir gets a touch. Had a really good preseason according to Coach Gelnovach. Played 29 minutes in his second career start against Ryder 3 days ago. Lamb detects the space. Miller in the flank. Beauvoir the neat turn. Looped in. Back post. Header, and it goes through the wickets. No, Townend's got it. Oh, a powerful header from Pella, inches away from giving the Cavaliers the advantage. Townend really had to squeeze together those 2 legs to ensure it didn't go through. This is a guy that Coach Ronning said does not lack confidence. He steps up in the big game. Solid as a rock, strong as an ox. And that took a lot of strength. The lower leg strength to make sure that ball did not trickle through. Dang slides it right. Lamb pleading for the ball on the near side. Instead, it's going to Mangaroff. Now Lamb receives. Soft touch to Miller. Mangaroff. He wants one of his defenders to take the space in the middle of the field. Nobody listened to him. Rome. Dang, who has a lot of flexibility in the back, can play as a center back, right center back, even a right back if necessary, but Paul Visa mans that spot as the wing back, and he earns a deep throw in. Oh, they're actually going to give it to Colgate here, as Nick Balser, our referee, says that it last touched the Cavalier. So Blackwin, the New Hampshire native, played the full 90 the other night, throws it in. Pella goes airborne, and he's clipped from behind. A free kick for UVA, and Pella is down. And Balser will stop the clock. Just about 17 minutes in our opening half from Klockner Stadium. First ever meeting between Colgate and UVA. The Cavaliers so far with a 3-1 edge in shots. Each team has had a corner kick. And one gigantic save from Oliver Townend against Umberto Pella. Case and Stafford having a conversation with Balser. Stafford now a junior from Cincinnatus, New York, about 30 miles southwest of Hamilton. Colgate certainly got acquainted with I-81. It is a long trip from Hamilton here to Charlottesville. Mangaroff whips it in, a header from Dang, just wide, took a deflection, and a corner kick for the Cavaliers, their second. Nick Dang looking to go 2 for 2 in his Cavaliers career. The customary rattling of the bleachers on a corner here from Klockner. Pella, who changed his number from 31 to 6 this season. Bloops it in back post. Over the head of Rome. Now it pops free for Austin, but he couldn't get a foot on it. And now it's Pipkin racing away from the 18. Ball in behind. Cavaliers hustling back. Sometimes their best defense is when they maintain possession. But Pipkin runs out of room. Overall, Coach Ronning said, look, the feel on the group, it's pretty good right now. We feel like the start of the season is in January, and we take that time of year very seriously. A lot of work into the physical and fitness developments, team building and cohesion. And they said the vibe of the team, the locker room, the energy in practice, it's so important for this program. They really hold each other accountable to a really high standard. And they are hoping, especially these upperclassmen, for a really successful season after some losing years over recent seasons. This is a program that made the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row from 2016 to 2018, made the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history in 2017. And by winning the Patriot League in 3 straight years, they became the first team to do that. Pahuli with the strip. Touches forward for Stafford. The junior looks around, and he's taken off the ball by Rome. Mangarov, and an island of room now for Reese Miller. Beauvois trotting near the 18. Miller gives it to Triton. Beauvois on his right foot, cuts back to his right. Drops it off Mangarov, curls it back to Beauvois. Tries to back heel it, couldn't get it to Mangarov. And now it's Blackman with time to clear. That did curl out of play, so it is a UVA throw-in. Talked about Beauvois kind of bursting onto the scene this season, just like Cesar Cordova. Beauvois in the 3 preseason games, he drew a penalty, drew a red card, and had an assist. Coach Gelnevach saying that he is a handful up top. And he really wears those center backs down and allows a player like Kome Ubogu or a Hayes Wood to come off the bench, those two being fresh, and they could take advantage of those tired legs that a back line like Colgate might have. And we expect to see Ubogu in the final 15 to 20 minutes of each half tonight. Coach Gelnevach said he kind of liked that role that Ubogu played. Guy who had a great start to his Cavaliers career. 10 goals in his first couple of seasons and scored the other night. That ball pops up on Brendan Lamb, but he does bring it down. Gashi. Rome. Lamb. Brendan Lamb bursting forward. Finds Cordova. Sneaks it around Pahuli. Lamb in tight quarters. Miller. Colgate wants it offside, and they get it. Some of the Raiders substitutes helping out from the touchline. Reese Miller had an assist in the opener against the Rider Bronx. The reigning MAC tournament champions, their first since 2018. They were picked second in their preseason polls, so yes, it's not an ACC opponent. Yes, it's not a ranked opponent, but get a quality result to begin a season for Coach Gelnevach and company. George Gelnevach entering his 29th season as the UVA head coach, the pride of Monmouth County in New Jersey. Played at Virginia in the mid-'80s, and he's been a part of this program for a long time, dating back to the Bruce Arena days. We've seen a lot of Oliver Townend on your screen, not a lot of Joey Petruni, the second-year goalie for UVA, coming over from Coastal Carolina, the senior from San Antonio. Colin Hughes looking at the AR. He vehemently disagreed with the call, which was a UVA throw. Nick Dang still working his way back from an injury. Played all but 1 minute last season with Lipscomb, but he had some off-season issues, and they're working him back. Didn't play much in the exhibition season. Beauvois, Cordova. Oh, nice tackle there. Beautiful play by Dale Lepper, the senior center back from Poland, New York. Not too far away from Utica. Now a foul on the Cavaliers, and Umberto Pella looks at the fourth official, and he looks a bit cantankerous, thinking that Stafford went down easily. Dale Lepper, someone who epitomizes what a Colgate student athlete should be. When we spoke with Coach Ronning, he just praised the leadership that he brings both on and off the field. Leads by action, high character guy. And he has been a fixture in the Colgate lineup throughout the years. Now his 47th career start tonight. Started every game since the start of his sophomore season. And here he is on the ball now with space. Lepper puts it right onto the foot of Pella. Stafford, though, wins it back, slips it behind, and a shove here from Colin Hughes. Referee says play on. But Petruni gives a high five to Dang. Joey Petruni, who is now firmly entrenched as the #1 goalie on this Cavaliers team, No other goalie on the roster has Division I experience after Holden Brown transferred to IU, as you watch the replay there of the two-handed shove from Hughes that wasn't called. Holden Brown was the starter to begin last season, but Truney got one start early in the year in the first 8 games, but Brown went down with an injury. But Truney started the final 11 games of the season after the PCL injury to Brown. And Batruni from there on then never allowed more than 1 goal in a game. Cavaliers with a 1-1 tie in the ACC quarters against Syracuse, lost in PKs against the Orange for the 2nd straight year in the ACC tournament. They lost in the semis in 2022. Cavaliers, they beat FIU in the 2nd round after a 1st round bye in the tournament. But then a 1-0 loss against Indiana in the Sweet 16. The Hoosiers then falling to Notre Dame in the Elite 8 in PKs. Beauvoir, he thought that there was some contact and a tug from DeLucia. Long sprint down that far sideline results in the ball on Pipkin's feet. Liam Winograd was the one bringing it out wide, and he trots back into his normal position as the left center back. Really helpful for a guy like Julian DeLucia to have veterans like Lepper and Winograd to his left and right. George Gelnevach now using one of his 6 windows to sub as Kome Ubogu, Ignacio Alem are ready to come into the match for UVA. Colin Hughes to get a breather for Colgate. And the Raiders bring on Alex St. John, the first-year player from Massachusetts, who played in 22 minutes off the bench against Syracuse in the opener. Alem, 20 in the orange for UVA, played a career-high 23 minutes in the first game. And Ubogu had the 45th minute goal just before halftime to give the Cavaliers a 2-0 lead, and he's on it right now. We talked about him weathering down the back line. Let's see if he can do that here. Alem, hard work to win it back. Here's Cordova. Mangarov. Visa. Right back to Daniel Mangarov. Chips it forward, Ubogu. Back to Mangarov on that strong left foot. Space here for Cordova. He wanted to go right. He shifts left and he shoots and he powers it over the bar. Cavaliers still seeking their first. They've had a lot of possession, not too many shots. That's just their 4th. You can watch the sudden change of direction from Mangarov. Pahuli did a solid job making sure that Cordova could not get on that right foot. The Colgate Raiders picked 4th in the Patriot League preseason poll behind Loyola, BU, and American. Long ball forward, Stafford hustling. Visa cleans it up. Colgate is the program that owns the most Patriot League tournament titles with 8, and still the only team to win 3 in a row. Lafayette is 2nd with 7. BU, the reigning champs in the Patriot League. They beat Lafayette in the championship game in 2023. Lamb, tried to find Ubogu. That would have been a really solid connection. Ubogu a bit too late. Brendan Lamb, he is like an artist with an unlimited palette. I mean, this guy can move around the field, go in different directions, find different outlets. And you kind of feel that he's the X factor to this Cavaliers team, so long as they play this 3-2-4-1 formation with a box midfield and allowing him to move forward as a left center back. Really excited to watch his development this season. The sophomore from Apex, North Carolina. Experience with the Atlanta United club. Alem zipping down the near sideline. He slow and deliberate pace. Cavaliers on the ball for a majority of the match so far. Cordova, Pella, Cordova. Mangaroff pattering forward. Loops it in. Inches away from Gashi. This is Pella on the byline. Bloops it in. And the header from Obogu. A little too soft. Easy to deal with for Townend. Kome Obogu, freshman season, scored 4 times, 6 goals in 2022, but only 1 goal last season. Started just 1 game, came off the bench in 18. That goal was against the Louisville Cardinals in late September. As Coach Gelnevach continues to form the roles on his squad. So there's going to be some moving pieces beginning of the season with so many newcomers on the team, figuring out where guys are positioned best and which formation to use moving forward. But that does not shorten the expectations for this club. Gashi. Mangarov. Pella right behind him. Mangarov fakes. He pulls the trigger and lifts it too high. Eric Ronning now using his second window. 3 changes here. Jack Bierling, Drew Steffens, and Connor Cates makes his season debut after not playing against Syracuse. Cates was the only notable returner from last year's team who did not play in the first game. This is a Colgate squad, and speaking to Coach Ronning, that is relatively healthy coming off the preseason. You know, the preseason now can really go one of 2 ways for teams. It's so short that you don't have a lot of time to accumulate injuries, or you can look at it by saying, hey, it's so short that guys don't have a lot of opportunity to train themselves to 100% fitness. And that's kind of been the case for the Cavaliers. They have some players working back from injury. A.J. Smith sprained his MCL. He's likely out the first couple of weeks. Grant Howard, who they got from Virginia Tech in the transfer portal, he's not likely to play this first weekend. And so there are some faces that Cavaliers fans may not be used to who will be returning at some point later in the year. Drew Serafino is another one of those guys coming over from Boston College. Spent 3 seasons with the Eagles and started 19 games. The player that they're really disappointed that they won't have this season, unfortunately for the Cavaliers, Willem Abingay, the graduate student from New Zealand. He's out for the year. He retore his ACL that he tore last year at a captain's practice. He's in his first season with UVA, coming over from Harvard, and a 2-time All-Ivy League first-team selection with the Crimson. So they won't have a Bingay this season. He certainly would have been a force for the Cavaliers, whether it would have been in the midfield or as a forward. UVA bringing in 17 newcomers to this team. 8 freshmen, 9 transfers, but only 5 of those transfers joined the team in the winter. Still waiting to see Hayes Wood come off the bench, the prolific goal scorer at Lipscomb, transferring over from the Bisons, just like his former teammate Nick Dang. Cordova, tornadoes around his defender. That was Steffens. Lamb uses the back heel. Bierling directs it out. Jack Bierling played the most of any reserve against Syracuse on Thursday. 58 minutes off the bench. Under a dozen to go here in the first half. 6-1 edge in shots for the Cavaliers. They've had 2 corners. They scored early, again in the 10th minute against Ryder, which somewhat opened up the game, but this Colgate team seems to be a bit more formidable defending. Again, they dropped into what looked like at times a 3-6-1, an unorthodox formation against the Orange, and they held them scoreless for 87 minutes until Chimre Omese scored in the 88th minute. His initial header went off the post. He followed it up and then kicked it into the back of the net. It took him 2 tries to finally get it through Townend. Gashi. Lamb. A lot of real estate. He shoots a knuckler and a stop from Townend. That ball was moving in different directions, but Townend stayed with it. Pipkin fails to flick it forward. Mangarov, one touch, Abogu. Back to Mangarov. Alem gets in the way. Cordova pokes it forward. Alem back to Cordova. Mangarov waits. Gashi to his left. Gets it there. Mangarov falls down. Advantage played, says the referee. Cordova distributes wide. Visa. All 10 field players for the Cavaliers in front of the half-field line. Visa curls it in. The header from Alem, and it squirts just wide. Ignacio Alem, the sophomore, looking for his first career goal on a beautiful cross from Visa. Ignacio Alem played just 5 games last season, 56 minutes off the bench. A key reserve here in 2024. And a lot of these guys getting bigger opportunities this season, with players like Leo Afonso now in the MLS playing on the first team with Inter Miami alongside Lionel Messi. Steven Honor was the 26th overall pick in the draft by the Dynamo. Motiem is no longer here. The ACC co-midfielder of the year last year after transferring from Oregon State. Axel Allender finished his time on grounds. In fact, the Cavaliers, get this, they only return 5 of their 28 goals from last season. Mangarov had 3, Abogu had 1, Gashi had 1, and that's it of any Cavalier you're going to see this season. So whether it's newcomers or guys that barely came off the bench last season, you're getting to know a new Cavaliers team. Pipkin off the twirl. Tried to find his teammate Bierling. Now the shot from outside is in. Colgate scores. It's Bierling. How about it? They've barely touched the ball the first 35+ minutes. And might we have a stunner from Klockner? Jack Bierling with his first career goal. What a time to do it. Defender fell down for the Cavaliers, and then he slung one right past Batruni in the corner. And this place is silent. Hands on hips for Coach Gelnovach. And the Cavaliers need to find a goal to equalize. Now, the positive thing for UVA is that this doesn't change the game plan at all. And it really doesn't change anything for Colgate. The Raiders, we knew they were going to sit back and defend. Lamb. Cordova. Gashi and now Pella. So the first goal in the career of Bierling and the first goal for Colgate in 2024. And now a Cavaliers turnover, and that fires up the Colgate players. And now you know, with every opportunity to slow down the game, Colgate will certainly abide by that. Connor Hearn, the header backwards. Couldn't find St. John, but it is swept away by the Cavaliers, and a throw in for Colgate. It's amazing how much the body language can change once you get that first goal. And as we talk about that tactic for Colgate to slow the game down, our referee Nick Balser stopped the clock to make sure that any unnecessary time did not trickle off the clock. Alem was tugged a bit. Some of the Cavaliers fans didn't like it. But there is Pella to help out. Dang, and now Austin Rome. Cavaliers also conceding for the first time this season after blanking Ryder 3-0 in the opener. Visa latches on to the ball. Mangarov in more of a defensive mid position here. Lamb out wide. Mangarov tried to sneak it in for Gashi. Instead, it's Hearn. He falls down. Play continues. Pella. Cordova. The slide attempt there from Steffens didn't work. Cordova goes down. Referee says get on up. Hearn. St. John. Shoulder-to-shoulder contact here on the near side with Alem. And the Cavaliers with a throw-in as Alem has to sneak himself underneath the bleachers to retrieve the ball. Pella. Overlap here from Lamb. Cordova directing traffic off the ball. Gashi, Rome, and now Dang. They'll give Nick Dang the space. Visa back to Dang. Three-time ASUN champion with Lipscomb. All ASUN first-team selection last year. Gashi, Cordova, Lamb. Tidy spin. Away from Bierling. Cordova floats it in, headed away. Headed forward now by the Cavaliers. Mangarov off the half volley, no. And Blackman keeps it in bounds. Gashi showcasing some strength. He'll get it back here from Dang. Gashi slanted ball, Alem. Ignacio Alem from Potomac, Maryland, DC United Academy product. Another cough up from the Cavaliers. Counter-attacking try here for Colgate's Connor Hearn. Brendan Lamb hustles back and asserts himself on the ball. Under 5 to play in the opening half. Jack Bierling with the goal on a laser beam in the 37th minute to put Colgate in front. The Raiders haven't had a ranked win since 2022 when they beat number 22 Cornell on October the 11th of that season. Aiden DeVoe scored the game winner in that one. Lamb. Pella. Changes his mind. It's Rome. Lamb. As pressure starts to heat up there from Hearn. Pipkin. And Colgate tries to blast it forward off the foot of Winograd. It does ricochet, though, towards midfield, allowing a momentary breath here for the Raiders. Field has been tilted. Colgate capitalized on its one big chance. Paul Visa. Blackman tumbles down and earns a throw-in for the Raiders. Three minutes to go in the half. If you were to chat with Eric Ronning, knowing that his team would be on the defensive for most of the game, yeah, the shots are 9-2. I think he'd be pretty happy with the first half. Yes, obviously the goal scored to get them in front by Bierling, but there have only been two really solid opportunities from the Cavaliers. At the big stop in the 15th minute against Pella on a header. And then it was Brendan Lamb who had the knuckle shot from outside the 18. But again, relatively comfortable even on that one for Townend. Yes, it was moving in different directions, but he did a nice job staying in front of it. Dang analyzes, plays catch with Pella. Colgate's line really dropping back here. Pella with a stiff arm. Gashi. Cordova flips it forward, and the curling shot always rising there for Gashi. And with 2 minutes to play in this first half, Colgate to take a goal kick. Eric Ronning, really the life of this Colgate program. He played with the Raiders in the mid-90s from 93 to 96. He a 4-year starter, first team Patriot League selection as a senior, a team captain. He was an assistant coach for 5 years under Michael Doherty, the former 20-year head coach. And now Ronning is in his 20th year himself. And he's 10 wins shy of his former boss's total of 160 as the winningest head coach in Colgate history. Entering tonight's match, this is his 363rd game. 150, 150, and 62 ties. Love that symmetry. Bierling, our goal scorer, couldn't flick it by his fellow number 6, Pella. UVA fans encouraging the Cavaliers for one final rush in this first 45. Gashi. Nick Dang, who scored one of the 3 for the Cavaliers on opening night. Visa, who had an assist. Nice cross and floundering to the floor. That was DeLucia. Pella regains. Visa. Some hesitation. Cross pinged off the body of Bierling, doing the defensive work as well as that ball rolls all the way to the hill with 20 ticks to go. And Nick Balser says back up that throw. Cavaliers oblige. Rome's got to move forward here. And here comes Townins. Hauls that one in. And that ends what is a dream first half for the Colgate Raiders. Playing on the road in one of the best venues in collegiate soccer against the number 13 team in the nation. They out of the Patriot League. Those 2 solid chances for the Cavaliers. And now they're facing adversity as one of their captains, Alvin Gashi, is encouraging the team as he kicks us into the second half. UVA in the bright orange uniforms for the first time in about 7 years. They're very excited to debut these new kits, and the Raiders in the white as they try to defend and get their first ranked win in a couple of seasons. This Colgate program has only beaten 2 ACC programs in its history. They've faced Syracuse a whole bunch. They've beaten the Orange 31 times. Their only other win against a current ACC opponent was against the Pitt Panthers back in the 2018 season opener. Daniel Mangaroff. He is shadowed from behind by Blake Pipkin, who makes his first career start tonight. Connor Hearn stays in the game. And Colin Hughes back in, who started 19 in white on the far side. Here is Hearn, but he is stripped of possession by Reese Miller. Visa curls it, back post. Townend with an assertive punch. Lamb back on it, uses the chest, outside of the foot strike, no. Goal kick, Colgate. Brendan Lamb continuing to freelance around the field. Cavaliers now out shooting the Raiders by 9 in this one. Certainly keep a close eye to our referee, Nick Balser, in this second half. He already whistled Colgate once for trying to waste some time, and he stopped the clock. So if he's doing that in the first half, you might expect him to do that a few times in the second as the Raiders try to salt away some time off these 45 minutes. This back line for Colgate certainly will need to be sturdy in this second half, with Blackwin and Harris as the wing backs, Leopard, DeLucia, and Winograd as the 3 center backs. Coach Ronning wants to play this 3 center back system throughout the season if all goes to plan. By the way, there is a second ball on the field right now, and Nick Balser finally realized it as Connor Cates who was in that spot of Ethan Harris, was frustrated and kicked it towards the hill. Hayes Wood, you see him in the match, 7 in orange. He's on for the first time. The transfer from Lipscomb suffered a season-ending ACL injury 25 minutes into the Bison's opener last season against FAU. But in 2022, he scored 8 goals, and the year before that, 9. Two-time All-ASUN second-team selection. And he was a first-team selection in 22. Still working his way back from injury as Jacob Blackwin runs out of real estate. Goal kick now for Joey Petruni. Eric Ronning and Ricky Brown and Tim Stanton on that Colgate sideline. They've been very didactic with their instructions. Dang. Oh, nice ball out wide. That just avoided the foot of Hearn. This is now Miller. Reese Miller turns on the engine. Accelerates to the byline. Crosses in, back post, nobody home. Visa collects outside the 18 with Blackwin mirroring him. Dang. Couldn't get the cross airborne. It went off the legs of Colin Hughes. And now they'll switch it to the far side with Mangarov. Jack Bierling defending. Miller, the junior from Houston. Now it's Lamb, Pella. George Gelnevach not happy with something on the Cavaliers sideline. Visa. Dang. And now Austin Rome, who gets a touch. That just misses Obogu. One of the things that Coach Ronning was very complimentary about his team in the opener against Syracuse, he loved the efforts of his forwards, whether they were slotted as a left wing, a right wing, or a center forward. They were all very interchangeable, and they all understood their defensive responsibilities. You know, one guy we have not seen for Colgate so far today is Timmy Donovan, who started in the match against Syracuse. He only played 31 minutes, but he's a hard-working center forward. Great defensively, holds the ball up well, but it has not been his day so far today. Instead, Colin Hughes got a start. Blake Pipkin also in the lineup. So perhaps Coach Ronning realized that the mileage on those guys' legs, in terms of Donovan and Alexander Corey, that they may have needed a little bit of a rest, and so he's cycling in some new guys. Dang floats it back post. Obogu gets ahead on it. Now the shot on the half volley way too wide from Albin Gashi. Needed more of the outside of the boot on that one. Gashi, one of the 2 cornerstones on this UVA roster with Umberto Pella. They have a great connection playing next to one another in the midfield, and that's just the beauty of college soccer, right? You have a guy from Italy and a guy from Sweden who get along so well and form this bond that hopefully for them they never forget. And as captains on this team, they're trying to get their squad motivated here and find the equalizer. Pella tripped up from behind, and they're going to say it's on him. As Colgate will put us back in play. UVA looking for its first come-from-behind victory since last October against the Pitt Panthers. Pipkin keeps it in right near the corner flag. Dashes past his defender, Visa. Steffens inside the box. He shoots with the left foot. Oh, it deflected. Had it not, it may have been in the back of the net. Cavaliers off a counter. This has not been an opportunity they've had today. It's mostly been in settled situations. And instead, they'll have to reset. Some of the grumbles from the Klockner faithful. Move forward, move forward. It's a game of angles and patience right now for the Cavaliers. Visa down the line. This is Gashi, one-on-one against Liam Winograd. Gashi waits. Back to Visa. Gashi. Visa crosses in right into the breadbasket of Townend. Colin Hughes wanted the whistle. He didn't really receive it, and so it is back to Petruni and now Dang. Cavaliers all time against teams out of the Patriot League, 32-19-1. Their most common opponent out of the Patriot League is American. They've posted a really solid record against them, 17-4-1, including 4 matches in the NCAA tournament. His Colgate team, they're playing them for the first time. Mangarov. As Pipkin turns on the afterburners. Jets down this near sideline. Gashi tracking back. Pipkin continues his run. He's right near the 18-yard box. He settles it down. Pipkin the step over, gets around Gashi, bloops it in back post. Nobody there for Colgate. And Petruni plays it now for Lamb. 9.5 gone by in the second half. You can sense a little bit of impatience from the fans here at Klockner. It's a program that's only lost 66 times at home since 1992 when this venue opened up. Winograd the header. Cleaned up by Mangarov. Off the body of Bierling, the goal scorer. Throw in UVA. Here's the encouragement from the crowd. Visa. Mangarov falls down. Dangerous challenge, and that'll draw a card for Jacob Blackwin. No hesitation from Nick Balser, our referee. Here it is once again as Blackwin stuck his foot in there against Mangarov and got him on the heel. Here's the free kick from Visa. Two-man wall for Colgate with Pipkin and Steffens. Visa curls it in near the 6 and a diving header there. Mangarov on the half volley, a rocket too high. And that's 2 chances now for Mangarov that have been about a foot too high. He's got an absolute cannon of a left foot. It certainly worried the goalkeeper, Townend. Hayes-Wood goes shoulder to shoulder with Cates. And they'd love to see something from Wood here. Again, still working his way back from an injury that he suffered in the season opener last year for Lipscomb. Guy who has 21 goals in his collegiate career. Mangarov puts it off the ground. Good work here from Pella to maintain. Lamb. Now it's Reese Miller. Mangarov checks in. He one-touches it out wide to Miller. Overload on that far side. Pella stripped of the ball and Colgate clears. Really have to commend the defensive work and the hustle and the effort for the Raiders. That's a body. Colin Hughes again, this time on Alvin Gashi. We saw Hughes in the first half with a shove in the offensive box for Colgate. That was not whistled from our referee as he let play continue. Probably a bit too far to go for goal here, but you never know with Mangarov, who is a free kick specialist. He's going to chip it in. And kind of one of those half chances. You're not sure if he's looking for a teammate going for goal, but couldn't get it onto the head of a Bogu. Blackwin, he's got really long strides and a lengthy outside back at that, 6'2". Pella. And now Lamb, they certainly want him to move forward in this second half. Brendan Lamb, center of the pitch. Visa wants it out wide. Instead, it's Mangarov on the left foot. Really solid defensive work from Liam Winograd, the junior from Ridgewood, New Jersey and Bergen County. All Patriot League third team selection. If you're a Raiders fan and you're familiar with him over the last few years, he used to wear number 40, now at 15. Dang directly to Wood. Uses his body. He falls down. Referee says get up. He had no issue with the challenge of DeLucia. Julian DeLucia, the first-year player, second career start, played the full 90 the other night. Hasn't stepped off Klockner Stadium's field so far today. Colgate now defending with a back five, 4 in front of them. And then Hughes the only forward. And even he is behind the ball. Pella has a notion, releases a bouncer, a save, and the rebound, no! Goal kick, Colgate. Oh, well, Bogu was right there for the potential cleanup. Umberto Pella with an absolute rifle of a shot that required the efforts of Oliver Townend. Here he is from about 30 yards out and just shot off the foot of a Bogu. Connor Hearn is now walking to the sideline for Coach Roning's team. Gashi lets it go for his buddy Pella. And Blackwin with the heady play and taking no chances allows Colgate's back line to push a little bit forward here, maybe about 10 yards or so. Pella has been on the ball a whole bunch tonight. Gashi loops it forward. Nice header there from Winograd. He's been noticeable here in the second half. This ball did go out of play before Pipkin was in that tangle with Pella. Reese Miller calling for the ball on the far sideline. George Gelnevach is telling Pella, get him the ball. Find the space. Over 15 minutes now gone by. Third of the way through in this second half. Colgate trying to see out a 1-0 win. There's Winograd yet again. And here he is once more. Nice job here from Hughes to keep it in bounds, and here comes the Colgate flock moving forward. UVA's got about 5 players attached to the back line of the Raiders right now. It just seems like UVA needs a bit of creativity here. Miller brings it down. He's got Lamb behind him. Trying to go to Hayes Wood. You have 2 center forwards right now in the match with Wood and a Bogu, which is different than the starting lineup, which has a single 9, and that being Triton Beauvois. We have not seen him since he subbed out in the first half. Again, the new rule change this season, only 6 windows to sub. Coach Gelnevach has used a couple of those already. Not a coach that loves to sub all that often. He's done a little bit more over the last couple of seasons. But he himself noted that it would be a smart move for him to use more subs, especially early in the season as he continues to find out which combinations work for him. Again, so many newcomers on this team. And guys who weren't featured all that often that are returning from the 2023 season that finished up for the Cavaliers 11-4-4. Wood to Lamb. He sees an option, the cross in, and another strong punch and a free kick. Townend goes down. A little bit of a disagreement right outside that 6-yard box. And with Townend down, Balser stops the clock. Goalies, of course, protected to the extreme, especially when they are up in the air, and so you understand the referee's decision there, despite the disagreement from the UVA fans here. Oliver Townend, who grew up in the Bahamas, then went to high school here in the States at the Darlington School, a boarding school in Rome, Georgia. Not a guy with a lot of height. 6 foot. He's, you know, as Coach Ronning said, he's not a 6'4" guy, but he gets the job done. And so far tonight, he has done the job. But the job is still lasting another 27+ minutes. Pipkin scurries down this near flank and retrieves it. Not much here in the offensive half for the Raiders since the opening moment of the second half. Backpedaling here is Blackwin. It's a decent cross in the area. Visa heads it away. Now it's Pella, and he's got Mangaroff. Blackwin pushing forward from his wingback spot. He'll continue to apply the heat. And this is Batruni. Cavaliers team that is the only one in the ACC with 5 conference wins in each of the last 2 years. The only team in the nation that's been a top 8 seed in the NCAA tournament each of the last 2 years. But they want more. Visa has time to look up and get it to Gashi, and now it's Pella, and he puts it in with the left foot, and here is Wood, and he's battling, and it's back to Lamb. Can't get off a shot. He gets it back for Mangaroff, and the knuckler goes wide. Excellent ball movement from the Cavaliers, but Mangaroff could not get it on target. Certainly a challenging finish with his left foot. He's been noticeable in the attack tonight. That's his 5th shot in this game to lead everybody. And the Cavaliers now 16-2, the advantage in shots. 5 saves so far for the senior Townend. Didn't have to make a save there. Wood attaches himself against Dale Lepper and did so illegally. A free kick now for Colgate. Cesar Cordova is waiting to check in, and now he'll come in as he will replace Alvin Gashi, who has played every single minute so far. And again, with no re-entry in a single half, we will not see Gashi the rest of the way. Alex St. John, we saw him in the first half. He'll relieve Colin Hughes, who did some admirable work up top for Colgate. 25 minutes to go from Klockner Stadium, as Colgate looks to beat its 3rd ever ACC opponent. They've taken down Syracuse many times before. They beat Pitt once 6 years ago, and now trying to take down the Cavaliers, the number 13 team in the nation, a team that is picked 6th in the preseason poll in the ACC. Of course, so many talented programs within the Atlantic Coast Conference. 4 of the top 6 teams in the nation. with Clemson at number 1, Notre Dame at number 2, Stanford at 5, Carolina at 6. 5 inside the top 10 if you include SMU, who moves over from the American, and 10 total ranked teams from the ACC inside the top 25. 5 teams ahead of UVA in the preseason poll: Clemson, Notre Dame, Carolina, Wake, who lost to VCU on Thursday 2-1, and Stanford. Visa hammers it forward. Ubogu the header. A collision there with DeLucia. Strong play from the freshman. Going body to body. Ubogu is still down, but the referee had no problem with that. He'll now stop the clock as Ubogu has trouble getting onto his feet. Here's a look at the two bodies crashing into one another, and you have to say there that DeLucia is going for the ball. Good to see Ubogu back on his feet, so no need for Kim Johnston, the athletic trainer, to jog onto the field as Ubogu collects himself. Colgate is saying that the ball should be back inside the UVA half, and Nick Balser agrees with that as he'll drop it down for Brendan Lamb. Or perhaps Joey Petruni. Mr. Balser getting in his steps. And we're back in play. Ubogu got some body part on it, whether it was his head or his shoulder. Here comes Townend to clear it way away. Dang flags it down, and he's forced down by Alex St. John. Free kick, Cavaliers. If you're looking for a recipe of how to play here at Klockner Stadium, tight defensive work, taking the crowd out of the game, Colgate following that recipe. And some mistimed passing allows the Raiders to earn a throw. Even though UVA beat Rider 3-0 in the opener, everything seemed pretty comfortable. George Gelnevach was telling fans before the season, some media members, look, this is a program that is in change right now, and they are trying to learn how to play with one another. Different roster here in 24 as compared to 23. And so what you see today might not be what you see in a couple of weeks' time. Pella misses Cordova. Stepping up, Connor Cates. He shoots off the back of Lamb. And Brendan went down in a heap, and he's still on his knees. And now a foul against Colgate. And again, the clock will stop as Lamb is having trouble getting up. Cates with the anticipation and then firing the shot off of, I believe, the back of Lamb. And Brendan continues to be down. This is a guy that UVA certainly can't afford to lose. He's played every minute tonight. He played 79 the other match against Rider and only came out because UVA had a comfortable lead down the stretch of the game of 2-0, eventually making it 3-0 with the goal from Dang in the 85th. Triton Beauvois is getting some final instructions from the UVA coaching staff as he will surely take off the yellow bib and join the team on the field. Lamb wincing in pain, but a good sign to see him on his feet. Interesting to see who Beauvois will take out. Will it be Ubogu or maybe Hayes Wood? We'll find that out on the next dead ball. One of the other rule changes to keep in mind as we creep down towards the latter stages of the game, with 15 minutes or below remaining in the match, if a team is trailing and they make a sub, the clock continues to move. But the team that is leading, if they make a sub, the clock will stop. to make sure that they are not wasting time. Same deal if the game were tied. Into the box. That misses Wood. Obogu was also near it. Mangarov touches it back. Cordova. Dang bypasses Lamb. It's now Visa. Lamb runs hard. Visa continues. Left-footed cross. Couple of pops. And it's right there for Oliver Townend. Winograd. Stafford. Forward for St. John. Free kick UVA. You'd have to estimate that the Cavaliers have had the ball about 80% of the match. But it's the one goal from Jack Bierling in the 37th minute. That's the difference so far, despite the Cavaliers out shooting the Raiders 16-3. So it makes this game so great, right? You can never predict it based off the stats. You can try, but you may not be correct. Obogu couldn't hold on to it. Rome. St. John with an aggressive tackle and a free kick. That's 2 consecutive fouls against St. John. The referee opts to not bring out a card. But just keep that in mind if St. John continues to be involved. It is Hayes Wood who comes out. A guy who probably can only play at this point about 20 to 30 minutes. That's what Coach Gelnevach was saying to us in the pregame. And Trenton Beauvois is in. Cavaliers with 20 minutes to find a solution. For Cavaliers near the corner of the D. Now Pella streaks in. Mangarov's cross, and it hits off the head of Pella. Cordova shielded away by Kaysen Stafford, and a corner kick for UVA. The Cavaliers with just their 3rd on the match. Keep an eye out for Austin Rome, 5 in orange, 6'3" target as a center back. Cordova will try to distract the keeper in Townend right on the line. Here's Mangarov's corner. A lot of bodies crashing down to the ground. There is no whistle. George Gelnevach is apoplectic. The referee does have the choice to look at the monitor if he feels like there may have been something questionable. Right now he won't. It's back inside the 18, off the head of Blackwin. Now it's Mangarov on his strong left foot, dangles in. The tackle there from Winograd, and a corner kick. Gelnevach wants a review, so does Obogu. They won't get it. Visa also talking to the AR. 4th official also out to speak with Coach Gelnevach. Another corner from Mangarov to the near post, and the header from Obogu. Balloons high in the air. There is Pella to head it back towards the 6, and Blackwin clears on a sky. Miller brings it down, the final defender for UVA. Now it's Lamb with Stafford defending him. Obogu is inside the area. Beauvois on the outside. Beauvois gets it back. He falls down inside the box. Referee says play on for now. Cordova. Here's the defense from Steffens. Blooped into the box. Off the head of Obogu. And Colgate clears it away. And our referee will stop the clock and look at the monitor to see if this is a potential PK. Previously, the referees could only review if a potential foul occurred inside or outside the box. With the rule changes this year and the addition of more video review, they can see if a foul that was undetected at first should have been called. And here it is once again. It was Beauvois inside the box, and that was Connor Cates. There was certainly contact there. It's just a matter if the referee decides that it was enough to take Beauvois off the ball. And Coach Gelnevach waves his hand angrily And I believe Nick Balser says no penalty. Yep, he just pointed towards the fourth official. Let's keep on rolling here. Here it is again. Cordova playing it in for Beauvoir. The challenge from behind, and I think the referee says that Connor Cates got the ball first and then finished through Beauvoir. A moment that brought so much optimism for UVA's fans once Balser decided to look at it, but he doesn't change his mind. Cates now will go to the bench of Coach Ronning. And he brings back in Ethan Harris, who started as the right wing back. Well, when we spoke with Coach Ronning, he said, we have a tough, disciplined, athletic, united, and resilient group. Those were some of the buzzwords. He felt confident about his team's mentality going into the season. He said, look, he was unsure about where the goal scoring would come from, but he knows he has a hard-working team that's committed to the game plan. And they've been committed, you have to say, in these first two matches, only conceding against Syracuse with just over 2 minutes to go, and they've held UVA off the score sheet so far today through the first 73 minutes or so. But one free kick can change the entire complexion of this one. And again, it's Mangarov likely to take it. Visa there as well. Mangarov in. Oh, he just missed a Bogu. And then a necessary touch from Stafford to make sure that Pella did not have a shot. This time Cesar Cordova is the one taking the corner. Fifth on the night for the Cavaliers. As a little bit of a breeze picks up from Klockner. Cordova right near the sixth. The header from a Bogu glances high and wide. He says that there was a deflection. Some of his teammates agreed. But Nick Balser, our referee, does not. Pay attention to how Colgate massages this clock in the final 16 minutes. And how soon Nick Balser blows his whistle if he senses that it's too much. Bierling couldn't get his head on it, but he does get a touch against the Bogu. It is picked up by Cordova. Triton Beauvoir out wide. They want him near the center of the pitch. Cavaliers, though, continuing to use a two-striker system now with Beauvoir and a Bogu in the match. Dang switches it for Rome. Now it's Brendan Lamb, who took a knock earlier in the second half, appears to be okay. Visa. Cordova stays out wide after taking the corner. Pella wants Mangarov to check in. Instead goes to Cordova. Tried to get it to Mangarov. It goes back to Cordova, and a steal. Mason Pahuli knocks it off of Mangarov. A third of the second half now remains. 19 shots now for the Cavaliers. And just 3 for the Raiders. Blackwin has a cannon of a throw, but he couldn't keep it in bounds, and so it does go to UVA back to the original spot. Visa, such a great distributor out of the back, 18 assists in his career. Had one the other day against Ryder. Maybe they get the ball on his foot for service. Ubogu. Lamb back to Ubogu, and Lamb goes down once again. There may have been a foot in there by Steffens. Inside the box it goes, and now a PK is called. DeLucia in disbelief. And the Cavaliers finally get what they want inside the 18-yard box. Kome Ubogu making a difference off the bench for the Cavaliers. And just to make sure that the proper call was made, Nick Balser will head right back to video review. Two big guys in that challenge. Ubogu 6'1", the 6'5" DeLucia, the first-year player. And Ubogu hoping that the referee does not change his mind. Here it is again. 18 in orange, 5 in white. The slide challenge, and you know that's another tough one, right? Does DeLucia get the ball first, and does the referee in that instance have enough to change the call? And he decides to stay with the call. It is a PK. Not much dissent from Eric Ronning and the Colgate staff. And so Kome Ubogu is the one to take the PK. One v one against Oliver Townend. Ubogu approaches, shoots, and it's off the post. Is it Colgate's night? Stafford clears it away. Ubogu had never taken a PK in his collegiate career until right then. Back post it goes. Townend gets a piece of it. Corner kick, Cavaliers. UVA's bench in disbelief. Mangarov now the corner kick taker. Whips it in, back post, it's a good one, and Ubogu just misses it again. Some sketchy moments for Colgate, but the Raiders survive. You'd certainly imagine that first DeLucia with a sigh of relief after he saw that ball hit off the post and not go in the back of the net off the challenge he made. And then Oliver Townend holding his breath as well as Ubogu missed that header off the corner. Here's the replay of the corner opportunity. It certainly was a delight of a ball from Mangarov. The Cavaliers couldn't capitalize on. Long it goes off the head of Pella. Dang now to Brendan Lamb. 13 minutes remaining. That's what separates Colgate from a massive second game win against number 13 UVA. Pella swings it far flank. Miller, that goes off the foot of Dale Lepper. Alex St. John trying to do yeoman's work, and now he will get whistled for a foul, and he should be getting a yellow card here for kicking the ball away. Or he won't get the yellow card, but the referee will stop the clock, gives him the benefit of the doubt that he was continuing the play. So St. John loses the ball, and then he clipped Cesar Cordova. A slow walk off the field now for Drew Steffens as he gets subbed out of the match. Aiden Wright started at midfield, back in. Dang. Visa. It's Dang with Wright defending. Dang, another cross, hoping for a head. Went off of Ubogu. Backside was Beauvoir, and the referee saw a touch in there from Triton. So it's a throw in for Colgate. A Raiders team that, if you're not familiar with them, they've won the Patriot League the most of anyone, 8 times, including 3 straight from 2016 to 2018. They made the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. Back in 2017, Eric Ronning in his 20th season as the head coach. 3 years ago, this program did not have a single win. They were 0-18 in 2021. But they started to build back up. 2022, they were 7-4-7. Last season, 8-10-2. They lost in the Patriot League semis to BU. But a team that is veteran-laden. They've added some nice pieces amongst first-year players, including Julian DeLucia, who comes over from Ontario. Blake Pipkin started tonight's match as a forward. And so these guys have great team chemistry. They've bonded well on and off the field. They take that component very seriously at Colgate. And look, you're talking about a Patriot League school that's very serious in academics. Not that UVA isn't, of course, one of the best institutions in the nation. But it's very difficult to transfer into Patriot League schools. And they don't have guys that are constantly moving in and out of the program. So they gain a familiarity with one another over their 3 to 4 years. Cordova to Dang. In behind for Visa. Flags it down and he crosses in. It's a little bit too strong and the referee says it went out of play first. I'm not sure that Coach Ronning predicted the outcome, but he did predict how this game would unfold. He said, look, our team, we expect us to be behind the ball. We expect to be defending a majority of the match, and that's how it's been. He forecasted correctly. And he got what he needed from Jack Bierling in the first half in the 37th minute. Now he needs his team to hold it up with 10 minutes to play. Oliver Townend has made 6 saves on the 6 shots on target for UVA. They've had 21 total. Inside the UVA 18, Dang got a piece of it. Fell to the ground on the collision with Aiden Wright. And Dang gets it back from Visa. Long it goes on the far flank for Miller. Haven't seen him on the ball all that often here in the second half. Stafford banks it off a couple of Cavaliers. UVA regains. This is Austin Rome. And now Dang. Long ball through. Cavaliers on it first. Offside against Beauvoir. George Gelnevach to bring on David Akori for the first time today. Akori will take out Paul Visa. Akori, the junior from Alexandria. This is just his 11th game on his career. He played 26 minutes off the bench in the opening game against Rider on Thursday night. Cavaliers, by the way, continue their homestand on Thursday. They'll take on a St. Joe's program that last season had just 4 wins. They lost to Merrimack on Thursday, and they don't have another game until Thursday of this upcoming week. Colgate looking to hold on before they host Stonehill on Thursday. The Skyhawks in their 3rd year in D1. Dang. Now to Mengeroff as he tries to shift around Winograd. Nifty ball in. And Akori couldn't find his center forward. That was Kome Obogu, and now the referee will stop the clock as 2 players are down, and anytime that there's a potential concussion issue, they are instructed to do just that with no hesitation, and he is signaling both trainers onto the field. Kim Johnston hustling, as is Heather Wilson on the Colgate side, and multiple UVA medical personnel are on the field. Here's the play once again. You had the cross from Akori. It was Ubogu who was going in for the header as he crashed in to one of the Raiders defenders. Both trainers taking extreme caution here as both players stay on the ground. The applause for Kome Obogu, who is now on a knee and now on his feet. And it was Julian DeLucia who was down for Colgate, and now he's also back up as Umberto Pella checks in with him. Good sign of sportsmanship from one of the 3 Cavalier captains. Drew Serafino is on his feet near the UVA bench. It appears that he's ready to check in and make his Cavaliers debut after he transferred over from Boston College. Started 19 games with the Eagles over the last 3 seasons. Didn't play 2 years ago with an injury. Or check that. That's not Serafino. It's Parker Sloan, 32, not 22. Sloan, the Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year a couple of seasons ago. And so Kome Obogu will walk to the sideline. And here comes Parker Sloan. A guy who always dreamed of playing soccer here at UVA. Out of Powhatan High School, Cartersville, Virginia native, about 50 miles away. And Toby Goldner, who did not play in the opener against Syracuse and did not play at all last season and only played 10 minutes 2 seasons ago, will be the replacement for Julian DeLucia. What a spot to be put in here. Goldner did play 17 games as a freshman 3 years ago and started 16. He played over 1,200 minutes that season. But this is certainly his most important minutes since. Certainly wishing the best to both players who were involved in that collision. But now these players must regroup. And Colgate's assignment is to finish off these 8 minutes without relinquishing a goal. You know the story for UVA. Sloan pressing the back line. There's the collision of the 2 players who just came on. And Toby Goldner earns the free kick for Colgate. Time growing short on the Cavaliers in hopes of avoiding what would be one of the biggest week 1 upsets of collegiate men's soccer. Strong header there from Rome against St. John. Rome wins it. And UVA thrusting numbers forward. Reese Miller showcasing the speed. Triton Beauvois challenging 2 Raiders inside the 18. He's got Miller backside. He shoots. It's repelled. And it goes outside now for Brendan Lamb. 7 minutes to play. Lamb crosses in. 3 Cavaliers inside the area. And it's headed away by Wright. Bierling didn't get all of it there. But it did find Stafford, who's brought down by Rome, and a free kick as he stomps his foot on the ground. No argument. He's just upset at himself. 6.5 to go. Second game of a doubleheader here from Klockner Stadium today with the UVA women, number 21 in the country. Absolutely throttling Utah Valley, the reigning WAC regular season champions, 5-0. They got 5 different goal scorers in that match. And UVA certainly hoping for a double dip in victories for its women's and men's programs today. But the men on the verge of their first loss in 2024. Pella directing traffic. He wants everybody pushed forward. Pella fizzes it in to the back post, and it's headed away by Dale Lepper. Nifty play here from Cordova. Now it's Beauvois back to Cordova, and the intercept there from Bahuli. UVA regains. Mengerov to the byline, clips it in, back post, and the header there, no. It's a save. Townend on the denial of Akori. '24th shot for UVA. If Akori directs that ball about 2 feet to the left, may have been a different result. Sloan is offside here. The AR says that he was not involved in the play, so we continue on. Under 5 to play. A lot of space on the near flank if they get it to Akori. Pella dribbles this way. Opts to stay in the middle with St. John shadowing him. Lamb to Miller. Deep cross, back post, out of play. And as a wide receiver, Nick Dang makes the catch. Ignacio Alem will come back on the field and take out Austin Rome. So more of an attacking presence here. They do lose the size of the 6'3" Rome. So more playmaking. Townend drives it towards the center circle. St. John and Pella there. Miller skies it in the air. Sloan couldn't win the header against Toby Goldner. No whistle here. Pella in a joust with St. John, and now the whistle against St. John, and now a scramble as the Raiders try to disrupt Pella from getting the ball back in play. Just over 3.5 to go. Miller weaves his way inside and crosses in, and another header away from the Raiders. They have been stingy on that back line all evening long. Dang right back in. Akori with a bicycle try. Rebound shot, save! Oh, Townend! Wow, what a stop against Ignacio Alem. Eight saves now for Townend. A career-high night for a guy who was making just his 12th career start. Mengerov with the corner, and it's headed towards the back post. Miller another header, loose change. Cavaliers, they're 8th. Mengerov wants. Nobody short for UVA. Mengerov snipes it in. It goes off the head of Alem. It went off the backside of his head and not his forehead, and that's why it's a goal kick for the Colgate Raiders. And they certainly will take their time here. It's just a matter of how much Nick Balser will allow, and in fact, he won't allow much. UVA now plus 22 in shots. And nothing into the net of Oliver Townend. Certainly have to remember that 15th minute save as he squeezed the legs together against Umberto Pella on a header. That was the save of the game. He's made a couple of sparkling saves as well here in the second half as well, especially from Ignacio Alem moments ago. Oh, the half volley. Oh, actually, that was a true volley. It was out of the air. Parker Sloan almost with the heroic effort. .90 ticks to go. Townend to take. Can somebody for the Cavaliers rescue a result here from Klockner? Some fans starting to get on their feet on the bleachers here at Klockner. Pella's got to go. Lips it inside the 18. It's headed away by Stafford. Bierling flicks it forward. Everybody back for the Raiders. Under a minute to go. Nick Dang in his second ever game with the Cavaliers. A long shot. It did take a deflection. That's what Dang said. But the referee says no. The way it came off of Dang's foot, you thought it certainly took a touch, but he may have sliced it with the outside of his foot. So now 30 seconds to go. Corey can't get the header against Wright. He pops it in the air a couple of times, and certainly Colgate thinking about the corner flag. Maybe they're thinking a second goal. Pahuli now with 15 to go. Wisely goes to the corner flag. Free kick for UVA, 10 seconds to go. And the referee will stop the clock, and he's going to hand out a yellow card here to Pahuli for getting in the way of Nick Dang. But only 9 seconds remain. Nine ticks to go. Everybody forward for UVA. Joey Petruni going to have to put his foot into this ball as hard as he possibly can. Up to go short. Dang blasts it. It goes near the 18. It's headed up and out. How about the effort from Toby Goldner in the final moments of this one? One final long shot from Dang, and it's over. Colgate pours onto the field, and the Raiders shock the college soccer landscape. They take down the number 13 Cavaliers.